Hi, I'm Steph from Simplicity Happens, and this week's tutorial features creating these adorable owls in PowerPoint, and this is great for teachers, parents, and those on Teachers Pay Teachers. If you're enjoying my videos, please subscribe to the Simplicity Happens channel, and let's get started creating these adorable owls now.
Hello and welcome. Let's get started creating our owls. So first, what we'll do is create the main circles for the owl's head. And we'll go up to Insert, Shapes, and let's scroll down, and under the Basic Shapes section, we will select the oval. Once you see that plus sign, just click and drag this out. Then we'll go up to Shape Format, and over here in this shape height box, we'll enter 2.58. And in the shape width box, we'll enter 2.66. Now what we can do is go to Shape Fill. And at this time, I'm just going to select a nice light brown color. And you can always change these colors later. But for now, let's pick this one. And then we'll go to Shape Outline and choose No Outline. Now what we're going to do is copy and paste by pressing down on Control-C, Control-V. So we have two identical circles, and we're just going to overlap them just a tad. And if you notice those red dashed lines running horizontally above the circles and then directly below the circles, those will really help you out when you're trying to align things together. So pay attention to those as you create your owl. Once you have the circles nicely aligned, let's go ahead and press down on Shift and Control and select the circles. Then we'll come up to Group and Group. And then let's align center. So go up to Align and then Align Center. Next, let's create the owl's outer eyes by going up to Insert, Shapes, and coming down under the Basic Shapes header and selecting the oval again. Once you see the plus sign, just click and drag this out. And then let's go into Shape Format and we'll enter our dimensions. In the Shape Height box, let's enter 1.4. And in the Shape Width box, let's enter 1.43. Now we can come over to Shape Fill and select a nice yellow goldish color. So I'm going to select this second one down and go into Shape Outline and choose No Outline. Now I'm just going to bring this over and align it to the outer circles of the head. So this looks nicely aligned. So now I'm going to copy and paste by pressing down on Control-C, Control-V, and then just bringing this one to the other side. Again, still looking for those lines and making sure everything is aligned nicely. Next, let's create our middle eyes. So we'll go up to Insert, Shapes, and scroll down under Basic Shapes, and we'll select the oval again. Once you see that plus sign, let's just click and drag this out, and then come on up to Shape Format, and we'll enter our dimensions. Into the Shape Height box, we can enter 0.66, and into the Shape Weight box, we'll enter 0.68. Now let's come over to Shape Fill, and we'll Shape Fill in black, and then come over to Shape Outline, and we'll outline in a nice light gray color. Go back into Shape Outline, scroll down to Weight, and then scroll down again to a 4.5 point thickness. Once that's completed, let's just bring this over, and we're going to nicely line it up. As you can see, the red dashes go both horizontally and vertically through the center of the eye. Once that's completed, we'll go ahead and copy and paste by pressing down on Control-C, Control-V, and then just pulling this over to the other side. Next, let's create the owl's inner eyes. So at this time, we can go in and select one of our ovals Let's press down on Control C, Control V to copy and paste. And at this time, I'm going to go up to Shape Format and enter into the Shape Height box 0.16 and into the Shape Width box, I'll enter 0.17. Now I'm just going to shape fill in white with no outline. And then at the bottom here, you'll notice 4 arrows. Hover over those arrows, click on your mouse, and we'll just pull the pupil of the owl's eye. And for now, we can put it in the center, but we might want to move that in a little bit to give our owl a little bit more character. So with that selected, let's copy and paste by pressing down on Control C, Control V. And again, just using those arrows to nicely line it up and then just move it over to the other side. Next, let's give our owl's eyes a little character. So we can select the pupil, and then on the left eye, let's go ahead and move 2 spaces to the right and up 1 space. Now we can go over to the right pupil and move 2 spaces to the left and up 1. Next, let's continue giving our owl some character by creating the hair tufts. So let's go up to Insert, Shapes, and then scroll down under Basic Shapes. And in this 3rd row, let's scroll all the way toward the end and select the moon shape. Once you see that plus sign, let's just click and drag this out and then come up to Shape Format, and let's go into the Shape Height box and enter 0.78, and into the Shape Width box we'll enter 0.54. Now I want this hair tuft to match the outside here of the owl's face. So let's select it and then click again on one of the ovals. Come up to Home, click on the Format Painter, and then click on the tuft of hair here. You can use that circular arrow to maneuver it around, but you'll probably want to tweak this here soon. So let's copy and paste this by pressing down on Control C, Control V. And let's make this one a little bit bigger. So go into Shape Format, and let's enter 1.08 in the Shape Height box and 0.6 in the Shape Width box. Now it's time to use that circular arrow and line these up, and let's copy and paste one more by pressing down on Control C, Control V. Once you have your little tufts of hair aligned, I like to have 3 little points on my owl. Go ahead and select one of the moons, and then we'll press down on Shift and Control and select the remaining moons. Come up to Shape Format, and then we'll group and group. And then we'll just bring this over here to the owl's head and kind of maneuver around a little bit. And also send it backward. And then let's press down on Control C, Control V to copy and paste. And then rotate by flipping horizontally. And again, I'm just going to maneuver this to the other side. Next, let's group each of the owl's face together, starting with the hair tufts. So we'll click on those and then press down on Shift and Control, and we'll select the outside circles, inside circles, outer eyes, pupils, and the other hair tuft. Now come up to Group and Group, and just to make sure we didn't leave anything behind, I always like to just pull it away, and then we can bring it back and move it up. You can also align center. So go up to Align and then scroll down to Align Center. Now we can create the owl's outer circle for the body and then the inner circle to give the body a little definition. So let's go up to Insert, Shapes, and we'll scroll down under Basic Shapes and select the oval. Once you see the plus sign, we can just click and drag it out and then come up to shape format and we'll enter our dimensions. Into the shape height box, let's enter 4.13. And in the shape width box, we'll enter 3.56. Now that that's completed, we can put this outer circle in the same color as the owl's outer face. So I'm just going to select the whole outer face and then select again just to click on the one circle. Now I can come up to home, scroll down to this little format painter icon, and then click on the owl's outer circle. Now what I'm going to do is bring this over to the owl, and I'd like to go up to shape format, align center, and then because it's in front of the owl's face, let's send it to the back by going to send backward. Next, let's create the owl's nose by going up to insert, shapes, and scrolling down under the flowchart header and choosing the flowchart decision. I'm going to select it and then just click and drag it out. Now let's enter the dimensions by going up to shape format and entering 1.22 into the shape height box and 0.87 into the shape width box. Now we can go to shape fill and choose a nice orange color. So under standard colors, I'm going to choose the orange color. Then I'm going to go back into shape fill and scroll down to more fill colors. And in the standard tab, I'm just going to select a little bit of a darker orange color and click OK. Then I can come up to shape outline and scroll down and choose no outline. Now I'm just going to bring this shape to the center of the page so that it rests nicely in between the owl's eyes. If your eyes are too spread apart, you can always just bring them in by selecting the outer eye, inner eye, and the pupil and pulling it in either with your mouse or with those arrows on your keyboard. So I'm going to go up to shape format and select align and align center and get it to a nice spot where I really like it. Next, let's create the owl's inner circle by selecting the outer circle and then copying and pasting by pressing down on Control-C, Control-V, and then coming up to shape format and entering our dimensions. Into the shape height box, let's enter 2.39, and into the shape width box, we'll enter 2.24. Now let's go up to shape fill and let's put it in a dark brown color. So I'm going to come into this column here and scroll down to the very bottom and we'll select this dark brown color. And then we can move the inner circle to the center of the owl. And just to be on the safe side, let's go up to shape format, align, and then align center. Next, let's go in and create the owl's arms by going up to insert, shapes, scrolling down into the basic shape section and into the third row, let's scroll over and select the heart. Click on it and drag it out. Now let's go up to shape format and enter our dimensions. Into the shape height box, let's enter 1.84. And into the shape width box, we'll enter 1.18. Let's put the heart or the arm in the same color as that inner circle. So I'm going to select the inner circle, come up to home, click on it, and then scroll down to the format painter icon, and then scroll over to the heart. I'm going to use this circular arrow at the top to just maneuver it around. And I'm going to bring it over to the owl. And in between the gap between the owl's head and body, I'm just going to put the arm right in that little area. Once you get it to a nice spot, go up to shape format and we can send backward. Once that's completed, go ahead and click on that arm and let's copy and paste by pressing down on Control-C, Control-V. pull it over to the other side, and then we can rotate by flipping horizontally. And then I'm just looking for those nice red dashes to let me know I'm aligning everything appropriately. And then I'm just going to send it backward. Next, let's create the owl's legs and feet by going up to Insert, Shapes, scrolling down under the flowchart header, and in this first row toward the end, let's select the flowchart terminator. Go ahead and click and drag this out horizontally, and then go ahead and use the circular arrow to flip it so it is vertical. Now we can use the same color as the owl's nose. So go ahead and select the owl's nose, go up to Home, scroll down to the Format Painter icon, and then we'll just select the owl leg. Now come up to Shape Format, and we can enter 0.16 into the shape height box, and let's enter 1.24 into the shape width box. Now we can copy and paste this by pressing down on Control-C, Control-V. And because these are the feet, we want to make them shorter. So let's go up to the shape format and enter 0.16, which is already entered into the shape height box, and 0.59, which will enter into the shape width box. Now we can just pull these over and use the circular arrow to tweak them just a little bit to place them around. Once you've completed the legs and feet, you can maneuver it around by using these boxes if you want to make them shorter or longer. That may change your dimensions, but do whatever you feel looks nice on your owl. So now what we can do is bring the feet over to the owl, and they will fall in front. So let's go up under Shape Format and Send Backward. So go ahead and click it. Sometimes you have to click it a few times. And then what we can do is go ahead and copy and paste by pressing down on Control-C, Control-V, and just moving this over. You can also look for those red dashes to make everything align nicely. And then go to Send Backward. And then lastly, what we can do with one of the feet selected, we can press down on Shift and Control and click on the other foot and leg and go to Group and Group, and then Align and Align Center. Lastly, let's group everything together. So let's select the feet, the outer body, inner body, arms, nose, and the face, which should already be grouped. Now come up to Shape Format, Group and Group. And we should have an adorable owl that we can use. This is a great time to right-click and save as a picture somewhere safe on your desktop or computer. And then, of course, always keep your original so you can come back in and make modifications as needed.
I hope you've enjoyed making these adorable owls with me. And stick around, I'll be back next week with another clip art tutorial. See you then. Bye.